Got a good question from a guy named Gary Jones. And his question is in regards to jazz soloing. So I guess he's having some trouble soloing in a jazz type setting. So basically what he's writing is, the question I wanted to ask you was drum soloing in a jazz setting. I've been trying to shed on my jazz drumming skills, and soloing in a jazz setting is proving a little difficult. For example, when soloing over an AABA form or AAB form, I'll sing the song in my head and try playing my solo at the same time. Many times I'll lose myself in the song. Other times I'll execute a solo that sounds sloppy and not very tasteful. How do I go about developing a good solo in a jazz set? Good question, man. I have some ideas that might help you out. I sort of have this approach to soloing that I've been doing for years, and it just works, and it's great, because I used to have a problem where I just did not know what to say. So, first of all, it starts with your vocabulary. The bigger your vocabulary is, the more you're going to be able to say in a solo without repeating yourself or losing your place or whatever too many times. So, the first thing that will help you out is to sort of realize the rhythmic foundation of swing jazz is basically the triplet. Start there. That's really all you need to know from that point. Because what you're going to do from there is let the triplet serve as your template, your rhythmic template for basically whatever it is you're going to play. So when I'm playing fills or when I'm playing solos, the triplet is my template. And I can stray from that a little bit, but I'll always come back to the triplet because that's what is creating the movement. That's sort of the rhythmic track that the song is sort of flowing on. So I'm just going to stay on that track. So anything that I play, not anything, but most things that I'm going to play are just basically going to be based off the triplet. And that sort of helps me to keep everything in line, and it'll kind of prevent, train wrecks on my part, and it'll help me just to keep everything on track. So if we're talking about a swing, and we go into a solo, this is primarily what's happening. Let's say we're trading twos with the piano player. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, and solo. 1, 2, 1. All right? Primarily, that's what's going on in my head. When I hear that space coming up, I'm hearing triplets, and that's what I'm going to work with. Now, you're obviously not just going to play straight ahead triplets for your solo. I mean, that's going to get kind of boring. But using the triplet as your template, now all you got to do is practice playing creative, just coming up with a bunch of creative different ways to play the triplet. Between using your rudiments and different hand and foot combinations, okay, there's a billion different ways that you can play the triplet. And then you start throwing stuff in there for color, like, drags and flam taps and battery cues and all that kind of stuff. The more experience you have with rudiments, the more options you're going to have to make that little block of triplets that you're playing sound really tasteful. So, in that respect, that should clean up the sort of technical aspect of what it is that you're doing. So if you're not working on your rudiments, get on that and start working on them now. So my approach to playing that type of thing as far as a form standpoint, put my sticks back down for a second. This is what I do. A lot of drummers sort of, like when they're faced with the task of playing a solo, whether it's by themselves or whether it's in the middle of a song or whatever, they tend to approach it the same way. They see a big empty space, right? And then they just start chucking notes inside that big empty space. And that is when you start losing your place and your timing's all over the place and blah, blah. And it's just not cool in a lot of situations, especially when you don't have a whole lot of experience. So my approach to soloing in any kind of situation where it's either by myself or whether it's in the middle of a song, I chop it up. When you do it that way, it takes the pressure off, all right? Because now, instead of trying to come up with one big phrase or one big block of notes, now you get to organize your thoughts a little bit more, and it's easier to do. It's okay to present an idea and then take a breath and then present another idea and then take a breath. I mean, it's just like speaking, or it's just like, writing a paragraph. When you look at a paragraph, it might be this big, but there might be 20 different ideas inside that paragraph. Solo's the same thing. So you don't have to approach that big block of time as one big block of time. So let me give you an example. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're trading twos. 2. Solo. 1. 2. 1. 2. I could do that all day, man. All day. We could trade twos until 3 in the morning. Wouldn't make any difference. Come up with a thought, present it, resolve it, come up with the next one. It's as simple as that. You can take 2 bars and you can jump over that middle bar line and extend the phrase if you want. But the thing is, you have that sort of structure in your head. And just play to the structure. So anyways, that's my suggestion, man. Try that out. Let me know how it goes.